It's time for the shop report with
Barbershop Jay.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to the Shop Report. I'm Barbershop Jay. I'll be your host for the day alongside D. Gully.
What's going on, everybody?
Here's what's happening. Let me first apologize to my Facebook friends, families, users, followers. I had said quite some time ago now that I was going to do a show, or we were going to do a show, in regards to the NBA free agency, or the NBA free agency period. Because, of course, prior to, all the talk was, of course, centered around the Cavs and Paul George and Jimmy Butler, you know, and a few other names I can't mention right now. You got to excuse my old timers. And then some time passed because we wanted to wait until the free agency period had had grown, so to speak, you know, got some distance, you know what I mean, so we could gather as much information as possible, you know what I'm saying, so that we could be able to bring you enough information, you know what I mean, and discussing it. Then, actually, to be honest with you, I was waiting. The last tidbit was Carmelo Anthony.
Right.
I was waiting on to see what was going to happen with Melo. And then one day it was Melo, you know, in possible trade talks with the Cavs. And Melo's possible trade talk. Well, anyway, one day turned into 2 days, turned into 2 weeks, turned into 2 years. And now the latest on Melo is what? He's going to the Washington Huskies now. I don't know.
Washington Generals.
Yeah, right. So then after that, so I said, you know what, the heck with it. You know, we're not going to wait on Melo no longer. I was getting ready, just about the time when I was getting ready to go ahead and do a show. I ain't waiting on Melo no more. And then what happens? Kyrie Irving asked for a trade. And then all the Twitter and Facebook blew up. Oh, Kyrie's a Benedict. Oh, my gosh, get him out of here. Jersey burning. Matter of fact, some guy burned the jersey and had number 3 on it. You know what I'm saying? In Cleveland. You know, they just want to burn the jersey so bad. But we're still going to definitely discuss that, the Kyrie and the free agency, NBA free agency period. But I think this Colin Kaepernick issue or situation needs to be discussed. This has been moved to the forefront of our discussion.
Right.
But I will say this, though, right quick about the Kyrie thing, and for all the fans out there, the LeBron apologists and the jockeys and the riders. When you're vilifying Kyrie Irving, take a look at the timeline. Don't stop or start in the middle of the timeline and then move forward. Go back to the beginning. Isn't that what a timeline is for?
Correct.
Most people here in Cleveland, they are vilifying him as if though he asked for a trade, as if though there was no provocation for doing so.
Right.
They're saying, oh, Kyrie's a Benedict. Oh, he's a this. Well, I said, well, wait a minute. If we go back to the beginning of this timeline, if I'm not mistaken, LeBron wanted him traded the year following the championship to the Clippers for Chris Paul.
Not even a year, like the summer, like after the parade.
Okay. Then this year, Dan Gilbert tells David Griffin, as soon as Paul George's name was tossed out, trade Kyrie Irving.
I don't even think it was said that way. If I understand correctly, it was mentioned that in terms of building the team, everyone is available except for LeBron.
Okay. And since you put it that way, let me say this. How dare you? Because while all of these people want to make comparisons, this guy, that year, this era, and so on and so forth, well, of course, we know the big one is LeBron James and Michael Jordan.
Right.
So let's look at it this way then. On the Chicago Bulls, let's say the Bulls in the Jordan era were thinking about making a trade with Horace Grant, B.J. Armstrong, Craig Hodges, heck, Dennis Rodman,
right?
Ron Harper, any one of them guys, Tony Kukoc, any one of them. Who would be the untouchables?
It would be two.
And those two untouchables would be who?
Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan.
Okay, then. So fast forward to today. Why shouldn't it be the same for Kyrie and LeBron?
Knowing that we always say, everyone always decries the LeBron haters, if you will, by saying, well, you have to have help. You have to have help. LeBron is above reproach, but he has to have help. So even with that argument that LeBron has to have help, why would his biggest help in his career, the second biggest help of his career be available for a trade? Who's better? Dwayne Wade.
Right. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Who is a better fit for the Cleveland Cavaliers and their style of play than Kyrie Irving? Like, name a free agent or a player eligible for trade better than Kyrie Irving, or with more appeal than Kyrie Irving. We still have questions about his defense.
But guess what? And I don't mean to cut you off, but I have to, because that's where I was going next.
Yeah.
There have been people who, in a means to justify why the Cavs should, with some expediency, get rid of him, seeing how he, quote unquote, asked for a trade.
Right.
Want to use his lack of fundamentals, you know what I'm saying, or his game, or the deficiencies in his game, as a way to say, go ahead and get rid of that. Yeah, we should. No, the two are separate. Him asking for a trade and what he lacks in terms of his game are separate.
Oh, yeah.
So, do he play defense? No. You can go down the list of things that he don't do. But here's what I'll say to you. Whoever you bring in place of him, what do? Name me another player that plays defense. If you're going to be that person to mention, he don't play no defense as a means to justify.
Right, because if that's the case, then make the trade easily. Go ahead, send him and ask for Mike Conley and Tony Allen and send them to Memphis.
Thank you.
And then we can get it done. But that won't happen. No,
it won't happen. And I know we said we're definitely going to talk about Cap, but this Kyrie thing really kind of, you know what I'm saying, stuck in my craw a little bit. I almost got it. I'm using floss right now. I almost got it out. I got a couple more things I want to say on that.
Absolutely.
My thing with the Kyrie thing is, as a man, my contributions to us winning a title after 52 years, there wasn't no title in this town, a title drought in this town. You're going to be dismissive about my contributions too? We was down 3-1. And now all of a sudden, folks want to talk about some, you hit the shot, good looking out, but see you. How? But when he was hitting that shot, he was the man. Make up my mind.
Right.
Stop being an oxy, moron.
The biggest shot in franchise history, the biggest shot perhaps in recent sports culture, because of the significance of a team not winning a title in their franchise and a city not winning a pro sports championship in half a decade. The biggest shot in history was not done by LeBron. All credit due to what LeBron did has performing in the finals that last year. It wasn't. That shot is what gave us a championship. It wasn't the block on Iguodala, because that happened when the game was still tied.
Thank you.
And if the block didn't happen, the Cavs would have been down by 2, and a Kyrie three-pointer would have still gave you the lead.
That's my point.
So all of those things being said, how can we so swiftly not recognize the position, or not even consider the position that Kyrie Irving is in? Simply put, this would be a whole different discussion if we could say for certain that Dan Gilbert did not make him available for trades this year, and that Chris Paul wasn't propositioned to be traded for him last year. If those two things did not happen, if those are lies, if those are not true at all, then
he can be vilified.
But you tell me where you want me to still play alongside a guy who wants to continue winning and think that I'm the biggest help for him doing that by not having the jersey, right? Not sharing the same jersey. I'm a bigger help to you winning the title by not playing with you, because that's what's been said.
Not to mention, and I'll throw in this tidbit, it's suspect to me, and at the same time laughable again, because they say, you hate LeBron James, you ain't got nothing good to say about him. I say, well, guess what? Y'all ain't got nothing bad to say about him, so what we going to call y'all? But at the same time, it's laughable that folk want to Kyrie asked for a trade, and they're using him. They're pinpointing him as the reason why, to point their anger at him. And I said, well, wait a minute. Dan Gilbert is suspect because he didn't give David Griffin. He waited to the last minute to let him go when he had all this time to give him some extra money or extension or whatever the case may be. Right. Then going to sit at the last minute and say, you know what, we don't need your services no more. Whether you thought literally or figuratively, David Griffin played a huge role in the acquisitions of the players who were brought in here since he had taken over as GM or whatever, whatnot. You know what I mean? Because some people say, oh, he ain't really do nothing. Okay, that's fine. Well, that's neither here nor there. He was at the helm of the team that went to 3 consecutive finals in terms of the move maker.
Right.
So for Dan Gilbert to play him the way he did at the end, if I had to step back and look at the situation, from the outside looking in, turning the volume off, I'm looking at Dan Gilbert and anybody associated with him or taking his side. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's my point. I'm not taking his side. Right. You know what I mean? And pushing Kyrie to the side or taking Dan Gilbert's side and not being on Kyrie's side in this instance. Because Dan Gilbert is suspect in the way he go about how he do business and his ego. You understand?
Well, what's really funny to me is that I would like to read the letter that he wrote when LeBron decided to go to Miami 7 years ago.
And why so?
Because, in essence, we hear that I think the team is better served without David Griffin, according to Dan Gilbert, in letting him go.
Yeah, but a lot of guys who cut their nose off to spite their face thought that too.
Well, here's what I'm saying. If that's the case, you know that LeBron's here, and LeBron is the only pretty much LeBron James is the only indispensable part of the Cavaliers franchise, other than Dan Gilbert as the owner. That's the declaration that, in a sense, has been made. LeBron James has been here, and they've went to the finals every year that he's returned. Okay.
Okay. Right.
So my point is, wasn't this the same power that LeBron James had the last time he hit you in the face with it?
Yeah. Well,
and we're preparing by having no one there, having wanting to trade the point guard or wanting to trade the second best player for the team, if you will, and getting rid of a GM.
So history is repeating itself.
It is definitely. I don't know how Dan Gilbert can avoid what Pat Riley went through. Pat Riley did the same thing. He gave him the world. He won with him, and he decided, again, LeBron James took his career and his liberty in his own hands and left him. The same way, I guess, we know that historically owners tend to do, if you think about professional sports, right?
Right.
Owners want you to pledge allegiance, want players to pledge allegiance to that team, and they're really resource capital to continue winning. Now players do it. The biggest problem we have here in Cleveland is that because it's Cleveland and because LeBron James is here, we like it now again. But we didn't like it when that same execution with that same charting of your own course, if you will, was used against us. It's going to happen again. I don't see any reason for LeBron James to stay in 2018 because now the franchise is in disarray.
And something you just said just a second ago when you started that, two things just stood out to me. We talk about loyalty.
Right.
And let me go back just before I say this thing about loyalty. It's not him I hate. It's the antics and the fans who are so quick to dismiss and give him a pass for his antics that they so otherwise anybody else are quick to shove out the door, which leads me to the loyalty. Cleveland wants every player to come here to be loyal to them. And I get it. I understand that.
Right.
But I could see a guy like Andre Rison, who once upon a time, wanting to be loyal to him. Yeah, let him walk because he came here with an attitude and you know what I'm saying? Okay, well then, right. Kyrie Irving never once one time said anything disparaging. You understand what I'm saying? So at what point should the loyalty be reciprocated?
He was not on the sidelines at a Browns home game.
Thank
with
you.
The other team.
Thank you.
He was not once in the stands of an Indians game in a Yankees hat.
Thank you. So you can't profess or express or say you want loyalty and it's like being on both sides of the street at the same time. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said make up my mind. You say loyalty. When it's time for Cleveland to be loyal to a guy who they probably should be loyal to, oh, get rid of him. Fucking he ain't this, he ain't that. See what I'm saying? It's the antics of the dude and the fans.
Right.
You understand? They're so quick to dismiss the antics because, again, when we talk about loyalty, for all the fans out there who taking LeBron's side and Gilbert's side or failing to mention them as they are with Kyrie, you understand? They put him on the front burner.
Right.
Stop and think just for a moment. What did he do that was so disloyal or offended your loyalty, Cleveland?
Asked to be out of a team that didn't
Want him in the first place.
That's simply it. Simply put, like I said, all we have to do is refute that he was not requested, that the organization or the powers that be, his teammate and his employer, who to his face valued him so much, didn't ask behind the scenes for you to trade him. All you got to do is refute those two things, and this conversation
is a done deal. That's my point exactly. You cannot tell a man, I ain't got no holler for you. Then the other dude say, I ain't got no holler for you.
Well, why not?
And then I say, well, let me go. You ain't got no holler for us? Wait, what you expect me to do?
Yeah.
So fans of this team, I'm not going to even say LeBron and Gambia, fans of the Cavs, if you're a fan of the Cavs and you see this thing playing out, how don't you cannot take pieces and portions and parts of circumstantial evidence and convict the guy.
I feel like, quite simply, it's cognitive dissonance at best.
Good term.
The only reason why we're here is very simple. He asked to be traded from a team that thought about trading him. If you support LeBron, if you don't like Kyrie's decision, acknowledge that this is the precedent for it. And if it is the precedent for it, say that, hey, he still should be loyal. And then I tell you, you're a fool. Because you ain't never really had the same type of loyalty for a job that had you on the chopping block when they had to do massive layoffs.
Oh, my gosh. Now, see, that's making the connection between, like, art imitates life, so to speak, like making the professional sports to putting it in layman's terms.
How many PTO days are you burning if they say this department might be out of here and y'all are the ones that had to stay overtime during holiday season to make sure the numbers was met?
Thank you.
Okay.
Way to put it in layman's terms. Would you say, we about to get rid of y'all. Okay, well, let me do some overtime.
Right. You burning PTO and you showing up late and you giving them a reason.
Thank you. Thank you. Exactly. You're not asking for more. Oh, let me help y'all out some more. No.
And another thing too about this, and I know because I think we got some real important stuff about Kaepernick to talk about. But I know a lot was made about this whole wedding situation and
do tell.
And the wedding. I guess Harrison Barnes, former Golden State Warrior, I think current Dallas Maverick, still good friends with his former Golden State Warrior teammates. There was a wedding sometime a week or two ago. I think he got married. And during the wedding, Steph Curry went about, mocking LeBron, doing the whole LeBron challenge thing, doing the whole workout to the T Grizzly video, mocking him. And a lot was made about Kyrie Irving laughing it up along with the other people and the guests at the wedding, laughing it up, just yucking it up, when Steph Curry mocked LeBron, I guess. I'd have to say, I do remember an Olympic team video where LeBron, to Kobe's face, hiked up his trousers, his warm-ups to his waist, and imitated how Kobe talks, his mannerisms, and everything. It was all good fun. It was all in good fun. Now, how all of a sudden it's salt in the game when Steph Curry makes fun of. I mean, hey, who doesn't get roasted? By your friends and peers and enemies. Even your enemies that even your competitors that competitively don't like you, but have a respect for you. Who don't get roasted? Why is this such a big deal?
When we all know nowadays in the NBA, if no other sport, we all say to a man, these dudes ain't enemies no more, they friends.
They friends.
So that's to be expected nowadays. Listen, I started to watch it. Mm-hmm. I turned it off, man, and started reading my book. Let me tell you something about the media. Mm-hmm. That's fodder.
It is.
That is for those fans whose information comes solely from the idiot box.
Yeah.
And they go straight to the debate circles. You understand? Like coming to a gunfight with a knife, so to speak. You know what I mean?
Matt Barnes did say, he said, I think he was on I think he was on Fox Sports on Monday or Tuesday. He said, I think it's just a slow news day. I think it is worth discussing because it's like, a lot of people hyped it up, and I'm like, I don't really see
it
this
was
as a big deal.
unnecessary. That's why I'm going to tell you about the media.
Yeah.
When taking the journalism courses, my professor said this: don't ever substitute real reality with television reality.
Understood.
Because you will end up drooling out the corner of your mouth. You will become dumb.
Understood.
Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you? Listen, I long since said, when TV became 24 hours, slowly but surely, it got to a point where there was not enough program-worthy material to substantiate the 24 hours of programming. You see what I'm saying?
The only thing.
So in other words, it might be, if you really break it down, it might be 6 hours worth of actual worth watching.
Right.
And the other, 20, 18, whatever it is, hours is SpongeBob.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? It makes absolutely no sense.
The only thing that humans need to do 24 hours a day is breathe.
That's it.
We don't need to walk, run, jog,
That's it.
sleep, drink, eat, laugh, sing, talk. All we really need to do is breathe. Beyond that, you have more than enough time, plenty of time. 7 to 8 hours of anything is sufficient. You don't really need more than 8 hours of sleep. You don't really need to work more than 8 hours a day. You shouldn't really watch more than 8 hours of TV.
Well, you talking about work more than 8 hours a day? Tell that to them companies that's breaking labor laws. Continue.
Well, yeah. You shouldn't have to work more than 8 hours a day. I mean,
Right.
Well, put it this way. After 8 hours a day, everybody's frustrated, tired, or they motivated by something else. Because after 8 hours, mentally, we're done with this.
We're done with this. Right, exactly. But the operative word in everything you just said was need.
We don't need
You
TV
don't
24
need
hours a
it.
day.
You understand what I'm trying to tell you? And because, like any job, well, most jobs, there's a slow period.
Yes.
These folks are getting exorbitant amounts of money to get on TV and say the stuff that they say.
Right.
So we got to do something. We got to come up with something. We have to create, or better yet, manufacture.
Yes.
See what I'm saying? Now, that's a problem in a lot of circles. Manufacturing can be good in certain instances.
Correct.
But in these instances, it's not, because what you're going to do is try to create. It's almost like, I think I saw it on Facebook. They put a posting up there. Some companies come up with a way to create a baby in an incubator. Do you understand? See, now you're messing with something you ain't got no business messing with. Don't try to create something that you ain't got no business creating. Don't
There's
try to
already the means to be able to do that.
And I'm not saying from a literal standpoint. I'm using that as an example to say, sometimes we in such a hurry to make something, and be what it is. We make up something. Listen, it's not substantive, is my point. It's not the real deal. You understand?
Right.
Journalism nowadays, it's not about who's right or wrong. You ain't no fact checking hardly or no more, if ever. It's about who can put it out first.
Yeah. Is it salacious and is it first?
You understand? Because, well, an anonymous source, an anonymous source said he was getting ready to go shoot him in the head. Well, if you can tell me all of that, put your name on it. You know, don't try to come up with something that you otherwise. Nope, I'm going to say it this way. My example, I'll talk about microwave potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
There's a difference between the potatoes that you get from Stouffer's. Mm-hmm. You put them in the microwave. They taste good the first time. Try to reheat them. They ain't going to taste the same.
No.
They're not like grandma's. You know why? Because grandma went to the grocery store. She got potatoes, scallions, black pepper, salt, and any other ingredients she needed to put in there to make the butter. You know what I'm saying? You had to put the work. You cannot substitute microwave for what's real.
Right.
You can't do it. And this is what's going on that tube nowadays. They coming up with all kind of stuff to talk about. Odell Beckham, should he be the highest paid player in the NFL? No, why? Because he ain't got his shoes on correctly. Like, what the? Then they talk about an hour. Like, yeah, he was wearing the red ones and the black ones. But then then I seen him put on his left shoe. So that means he going to have a bad day on it. Man, stop it.
And the fact, when you bring that up, the fact that they're not really interested in the real answer. They're interested in something else to talk about, because the idea of putting your teammates on in an interview, in a press conference, in an open forum, to ask that question of your teammates, to ask your teammates if his counterpart is worth being paid the highest salary in the league, just like in the year leading up to James Harden leaving Oklahoma City,
right?
Asking Russell Westbrook and Russell, not Russell, asking
Same
Russell
difference.
Westbrook and Kevin Durant if their teammate is a max player. Well, they don't make that decision, even if they just say that they were. You know what that leads. You know what that means to make him a max player. That means for these guys, for him to be a max player, that means I've got to take less.
Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to talk about that, that max this and max that, and dumb, and what I like to call DAQs, DAQs.
Yes.
Reporters asking players dumb-asked questions.
Dumb-asked questions.
Right. So we'll talk about that.
I think we need to come up with one of those a week. Dumb-asked questions.
No, I'm not going. I'm not selling out.
You're not.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not selling out. We'll talk about the DAQs at another time, a later date. Mm-hmm. Right now, let's switch gears.
Okay.
Let's talk about this Kaepernick thing. I try to follow along with the storylines, but again, so much of it is hyperbole.
Right.
Am I saying that correctly?
Right.
Bullshit. You know what I'm saying? As we might say on 79 or something. You know what I'm saying? Some crap, garbage. And other portions of it, depending on which host you're watching or listening to, may have some substance to it. And you and I, me in particular, of course, I love using the word substance. You know what I mean? Don't give me the manifest. Peel back the top. I want to give me the latent, that which is underneath. You know what I'm saying? The core. We always talk about core. What is it made? The nucleus,
right,
of a topic or what a discussion, whether it's a team player. Give me the nucleus of it all. So I am not going to sit here and lie to you and say that I was sitting on the edge of my seat, just tuned in to everything and anything that was being said about Kaepernick and his protesting and so on and so forth. You know, because so much of it is, I don't know what's live or what's Memorex.
Understood.
What's real or what's bull. You get what I'm trying to tell
Understood.
you? But as a black man in this country, America, African American, whatever, in this country,
right?
Because my grandfather said, "You ain't black. Look at you." You know what I'm saying? Black is you. Look at that crayon. You know what I mean? But okay, fine. That's a discussion, of course, for another day too. I don't have to watch it 24/7 to see if I'm going to miss something, because I've lived it. Do you understand?
Right.
I don't need to read everything about it to try to really fully grasp what's going on, because I've lived it.
Right.
You understand? What I don't get is this country is such hypocrites. Or should I say the hypocrisy is disgusting to me. For too long, the narrative has been, y'all trying to assimilate with us. No, I don't want to be you. For those of you who think negatively. You understand? All I want is equal opportunity.
Right.
You know and I know. While we listen to Ray Lewis, and I do like what Shannon Sharp said on this whole subject, and others, Skip and Bayless and Stephen A. and a couple of others that discussed this, that too much dancing around this issue of racism. It's real. It's been here. Every other nationality that I can think of that's prevalent in this country, they don't have this issue. We live in a day and age where acceptance is the order of the day. Except when you're black in this country. Okay. You understand? What Colin, in my estimation, all right, what Colin Kaepernick is protesting is not the flag literally. Do you understand?
Right.
But what the flag stands for what he sees when he looks in the mirror. This country says we have a right to everything. They always quoting and requoting the Declaration and the Constitution and all of that when it's favorable for you. You understand?
Right.
But when I want to use it, hold up. Mos Def said, when the white boy do it, whatever that it is, it's seen as success. When I do it, it's seen as suspect. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
But you want to stand up and hold your heart, hold your hand across your heart like the land of the free. Who's free?
Right.
When I got pulled over for driving while black 2 months ago, that's not freedom. Do you understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Absolutely not. I feel like there is great promise into these principles that America is supposed to represent: the American dream, the three inalienable rights, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But explain to me this: if that is the case, why doesn't Colin Kaepernick have a job? Why is his ability to make his livelihood in the way that he made himself successful, why is that stymied now? His right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness is stymied because his pursuit of happiness is through playing football. And what he's been able to do with that is take care of and support causes that he feels passionately about. What we have here is we have people that are offended, somehow making it about just the flag, and the flag represents the military and the armed forces who sacrificed. When that flag represents 50 states and the stars and stripes, it doesn't represent all of the branches of the military. It represents more than that.
Can I stop you right there?
Yes, sir.
You used the term or word sacrifice.
Yes.
That's what I mean. People who talk about what he did in his stance against the flag,
Right.
that flag represents not just the sacrifice of those who went and fought for this country.
Correct.
The sacrifice of those who helped to build this country. Do you understand?
And who died for civil rights, for making sure
Thank
everybody
you. So
gets a fair chance.
Right. So sacrifice is not color specific,
No.
gender specific.
Right.
Do you understand? So you can't get on your high horse. Tomorrow he disrespecting the flag. The
No, he
flag then disrespected him and his ancestors.
The
You know what I'm
flag
saying?
didn't disrespect him.
No, of course not.
The flag didn't. The flag is something. Is a symbol. That flag didn't disrespect him at all.
So then, symbol, what does it represent? It don't just represent those who fought for this country.
No, it doesn't.
You understand? So in other words, you can't pick out some and in the bag. You understand what I'm saying? Do you want a bag of candy?
Right.
Yes. Or you say, no, I just want to. No, listen, look, you either take all of this right here. That may be not a good analogy, but you get the idea. You either take all of it or you don't get none, because we're not going to piecemeal this. You're not going to get this and then get that and then talk about, yeah, you want this later. No, you take all of it or don't get none. So in other words, you cannot separate
Right.
this and leave the rest. You have to use, as I used earlier, a guy's life is on the line. Goes to court. You can't pick out pieces of the evidence. What happens when one side, whether it's the prosecutorial side, boy, I don't know why I'm biting my tongue here saying that, or the defendant side, one or the other say, wait a minute, Your Honor, that evidence wasn't brought to us. You understand what I'm saying? You're supposed to bring forth all of the evidence.
Yeah, I have to be able to know what I need to explain or not.
Right, how to prepare my case. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And if you don't bring, how you going to come up with this later? No, that's inadmissible.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to tell you? The flag represents those who fought for us, but it also represents those who look like me and the trials and tribulations that they had to go through and the things they were subject to. You understand what I'm saying? This country ain't this country without us.
Right.
And our contributions to it. You can't dismiss that, is my point.
It sounds redundant, but the flag represents those who fought for us and the people that they in turn fought for.
And those who died, too.
Exactly.
Here and abroad.
Now, I will say this as well. There's something to be made about the fact that I believe Colin Kaepernick says that, if he given a chance on a team this season, he won't protest. He don't have to kneel. He won't kneel anymore. And I think some people have taken issue with that. But I will tell you this. The purpose of kneeling, and I'm glad that he started kneeling instead of sitting down. I think the purpose of kneeling was the symbolism. The symbolism behind that, in my opinion, is just like when a player, whether it be your teammate or a competitor on the field of play, gets a serious hit, something that could be career-altering or life-altering, you take a pause to recognize that, hey, it's more than a game.
Exactly.
You kneel.
Right.
And you make sure that the EMTs and the technicians and training staff, they tend to that player and they get him off the field. But in the end, once that player is off the field, the game has to continue.
Right.
So you can leave your mind there on that injured player and not be focused and jeopardize your team and the job you have to do.
Separating the two.
The fact that Colin Kaepernick is not kneeling anymore because he don't play, because we're talking about something that he did last year, is proof positive right now. He don't have to kneel no more. The point has been made.
Right. Got you.
So he don't have to kneel. He can stand up.
Got you.
Also, I think it's a call to action, or it is a point of reflection for the black community as well. Because whereas Colin Kaepernick stood up for those who felt like an injustice was brought upon them, he needs the support of the black community to help get him the support that he needs to continue doing this thing. Here's what I mean. We talk, years and decades have been made about the power of the black dollar.
Right.
And how it's divested. Right now, the power of the black dollar is divested in all of these sponsors and organizations that use our money to help support their causes. Basically, I believe the owner of the Baltimore Ravens, he had mentioned the fact, his concern about sponsors when they evaluated bringing Colin Kaepernick in. Those sponsors that he's talking about, those sponsors have a significant amount of black dollars in their products.
Right.
We don't have the buying power to help support this man and maybe say, hey, listen, we'll take our money elsewhere. We won't support your products. We won't support your causes if you don't allow him an opportunity to at least try out. And pragmatically speaking, some of these teams that sign quarterbacks have weak offensive lines. They have problems with the offensive line. Now, I need to find out, is it better? Are you better served with a mobile quarterback for a weaker offensive line, or an immortal or a pocket passer with a weak offensive line?
Okay, that's fine. Are you better served with having Ryan Fitzpatrick, Derek Anderson?
That's exactly my point.
You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Listen, I don't care if the football issue is separate from the political issue. You understand what I'm talking about?
Well,
if them bums got a job, if them bums got a job, then he should dang gonna sure have a job.
But it intersects
all
at
these
the fact,
regurgitated bums.
right? But I'm saying it intersects at the fact that he actually fits, his skill set actually fits the needs of teams that went elsewhere because they were afraid of sponsorships and fandom. Especially in Baltimore, as Shannon Sharp pointed out, the ethnic demographic of Baltimore definitely would support them giving him at least a tryout.
All right. Right. And here's the killer part. He didn't murder anybody. He didn't rob anybody. He did not do anything detrimental to the community. You understand? All the things for which you might want to say, what did he do? He took a knee to protest injustice.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to tell you? But here's the killer part. As I mentioned earlier, all the other factions express their rights.
Yeah.
The LGBT community, the Jewish community, all these other people, you know what I'm saying? Oh, no, you can't say that. Oh, no. What?
Right.
They stand up and they protest. What you mean I got a right to this? Except if you black. You ain't got no right. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Right.
You can express your rights freely. You understand what I'm saying? I express my right, and I'm wrong for expressing my right?
Yeah. What is wrong in expressing your right?
You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Oh, you got to.
I don't like the way he did it. What do you mean? How do you like a protest? If you like a protest, then you're not going to agree with it.
That's my. They do this at my job. You can have annual. You get so many hours of paid time. Okay. Well, I want to use it. No, you can't use it. What the?
You gave it to me.
You just. Why you giving? So what you giving it to me for? To save it for Christmas? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Why
I definitely can't use it during Christmas time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's a contradiction. What you mean?
Right.
Oh, you can't, but you can't use it when you feel like it. And I'm standing there for about 35 minutes, like, what you base? That's not logical. What you basing that on?
We often say that celebrities and entertainers and those who have influence or affluence, if you will, in pop culture, in our culture, have a right and responsibility with the things that they do or say. He's exercised his right of responsibility with the things he did and said, or what he did, and he's vilified for it. vilified for saying, "Hey, people are hurt." And furthermore, let's go back and let's remind everyone
He's being vilified for doing in his way, in a nonviolent way, with the other people who would fight, say something against one of the other factions that I said.
Other
It's an
communities.
uproar.
Yeah, right.
You understand what I'm trying to tell you? It's an uproar.
And he never said every policeman.
Thank
he never
you.
said every soldier. And he
Thank
never
you.
said, he clarified and gave you all the
Thank you.
asterisks that
Thank you.
that you would need if you don't have common sense. He gave
Thank
you
you.
all of those, literally spelled them out. But
Thank
he
you.
still don't have a job. So
Thank
the
you.
longer he doesn't have a job, the more we can realize we have a problem with race that that no side should be able to deny anymore. People that deny that racism is a problem in society, and people that believe that racism is a problem in society. Everybody should be able to see now. Racism has a lot to do with it.
And here's the killer part. I don't know if there's a solution. If it's a way to fix it. But I know one thing. We're going to stop dancing around it. We're going to stop not discussing it. Or, oh, that's a touchy subject. I don't want... No. You need to get touched up one time about this right here.
Right.
You understand what I'm trying to tell you? You need to get touched up
It's
2 times.
dirty.
Matter of fact,
Clean it up.
That's right. Dirty is an understatement.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? It's foul.
It's dirty.
You
Clean
understand?
it up. Right.
It's like the denizens of it's the lowest of the low. You understand what I'm trying to tell you? Look, man, at the end of the day, again, I don't want to assemble. Give me equal opportunity. You don't like me? Fine. But I ask everybody and anybody, what you basing whatever it is that you're saying I can and can't do, what you basing it on? You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
Right.
What you basing it on? You mad at him for taking a knee for what? For what? At the end of the day, based on the color of his skin? Kidding me? That is crass beyond. That's asinine. Any other adjective you could use, negative connotation, whatever it is you could use to describe it, that's what it is. All wrapped up into one. Now, I could say, you know what, man? No, you're not getting no job. I gave the last job I gave you, you mucked it up. You had people, I told you you could run this apartment building for me. You had people running in. Okay, that's a reason to say, no, you don't get another chance or you don't get another shot. You understand what I'm trying to tell you?
He was highly efficient the last time he had his opportunity. And don't say it was for a sorry team, because those are the same numbers that warrant RG3 getting a job. And the team was terrible.
All I know, at the end of the day, man, we're going to continue this discussion. We have to continue this discussion. We want running a little bit low on time.
Okay.
But this is the Colin Kaepernick part 1, if you would. Because this is ongoing. We're going to see where this thing go from here. You know what I mean? But this dude got to have a job. Ain't no question in the world this dude got to get a job. Whether it's the Ravens or anybody in there, whatever it is that signed him, this dude has to get a job.
If at least for this season, for him to be able to prove based on the merits of his football abilities that he may not deserve a place in the league anymore. But I tell you what, he still needs about 2 or 3 more seasons of bad seasons in order for us to prove that, because these some sorry quarterbacks that have jobs.
And on that note, it's been fun, but we got to run. We appreciate y'all for listening to the Shop Report. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and now on iTunes. Or email us, theshopreport365@gmail.com. And if that don't work, Google it. And remember, the next time y'all want to know what's really going on, come to the shop. Walk-ins are always welcome. I'm Barbershop Jay for my man
D. Gully.
Holla.